Check 1 2. Check 1 2. This is a test of the microphone commenting system for this particular NVIDIA capture. I'm just going to check from time to time if the sound is on. And I don't have a ton to say about this stage of the game other than these two tunes here are level 11 in the Nektulous forest, and they're fighting some skeletons and attempting to then move up to probably Najina. I hope I'm saying that right. And yeah, so enjoy. I've actually obtained a enamel black mace, which is quite a nice weapon for classic. And I'm toying with the idea of giving it to the troll shaman here to fight with, but I think it's better on the SK. I'm not sure. What I was told when I asked this before on other progression servers is that there is a damage cap for two-handed weapons until level 10. So the SK has a two-handed weapon called the Dark Reaver. 1 second here. And pesky skeleton. Okay, so right now the shaman's using the enamel black mace, and the SK is using the Dark Reaver. Um, if that's weird or whatever, let me know. Some people might always use the two-hander. Some people might always use the one-hand blunt and a shield. I'm not sure, but personally, I think the Dark Reaver's better after level 10, so that's what I was told. Also, this character has a Charred Guardian breastplate, which drops in Soul A off of Clockwork Dome. I didn't camp it myself, obviously, as I'm only level 11. But yeah, I bought a chrono and bartered it in the Common Lands tunnel. I was able to get, Dark Reaver and an enamel black mace and a Charred Guardian breastplate. I still have 74 plat left over, which isn't much. But I did get 1.9 thousand plat. So almost 2,000 plat for one chrono on my first day. So I was happy with that and grabbed some starter gear and off the level. I found my missing SK. I was accidentally logged into the wrong account when I first started my first little stream here. So I was going to create a new guy on this account. Boxing is allowed on Frostreaver, and therefore I'm going to take advantage of that and make a human guy. And, I'll just call him Mule, or in other words, pack animal, beast of burden, guy who carries stuff. Mule person. Okay, so the purpose of him is to put him in Freeport so he could run to the Common Lands tunnel. Okay, so this is a nice little spot. These skeletons repop. I timed this roughly every minute and 14 seconds. So theoretically, you could just stand here and the pet could kill them. and you can start to get some money and some spiraling silks and bone chips mainly. There's a lot of bone chips here. If you feel like farming those, you could definitely get like a ton of them right here. So let's see. That's my new guy. Okay. So here's the troll fighting with the enamel black mace. I think it's a great weapon because it can be used by, as we see, warrior, cleric, paladin, ranger, shadow knight, druid, monk, bard, rogue, shaman, beast. That's every class, is it not? Except maybe neck, whiz, mage, and chant. Yeah, it's. I figure once he's done with it, I could either resell it or I could put it on a twink tune, a new tune. And yeah, he seems to be doing fairly well with it as a shaman weapon, and it's probably, exemplary. So here's Mule Man, or Mule Person, because I already have a Mule Man. And I'm going to be attempting to run him to the Common Lands tunnel. I was just going to have him in the window just watching the prices, just to see if anything jumps out at me. And in case no one knew this could be kind of a weird little thing. If you miss it, there's a certain pick zone feature when you get to the East Common Lands tunnel. Make sure, or when you get to Common Lands at all, type /pick, and the pick zone menu will appear. And you want to pick the pick zone that's full. It's got like 250 people in it, and that would be the main trading area. So you can be in Common Lands and be standing in an empty instance of Common Lands, and you want to be in the most populated. So these are still blue at 11, so I'm still getting XP here. And there's a few sort of bigger creatures or mobs that appear here, such as the undead councilman and undead citizen, rotting citizen, I think it is. And look out for those because they're kind of brutal at level 5 or 6. These two can take them out, but that took me a little while to get. So I'm putting all my bone chips together on one character because I've seen them go for as much as like 5 platinum a bone chip if you stack them up to 1,000. Okay, so I'm going to continue from Freeport. Someone told me once this is a very different Freeport than the one that was in Classic in '99. I did actually play briefly during '99. It shows my age. I just turned 47. But in '99 I was 20. So me and my friend, we did try the game. My friend got a lot further than me. I got to level 10 or something, and I said, man, this game is, you know, very time consuming. I think those weren't my exact words, but I said, hey, bro, I can't spend all day on this thing, but or something to that effect. But anyway, Freeport back then was much different looking. This is a revamp that was done around 2005, I believe, for the Prophecy of Roe expansion. And as I understand it, they lost the original code to make the original zone. So actually, that also applies to Nektulous Forest there as well, where my other guys are. This version of Nektulous didn't have this little skeleton camp, but I decided, hey, well, anything goes, so I'm going to use it. If it's in the game, I'm going to exploit it, and that's games, eh? All's fair in love and games. So, anyway, This guy is running through the crowded London-like streets of Freeport. I don't know what this item is, but it's steaming, and I'm gonna not step in it. Okay, so just like London, it's got kind of it's crowded, it's polluted, there's corpses lying around. It's like a very medieval type of a London. Here comes some bobbies. It's a bobby dazzler. I don't have a bobby dazzler on my cursor, but okay, that's for fans of Oak Island, Curse of Oak Island. But anyway, no one else will get that reference. So, okay, now this is what's known as the newbie yard or newbie area, and we got some naked people standing out here, kind of clubbing on woodland creatures and bats and spiders, and it's kind of an interesting scene. Like I said, just like London in the 1750s. Okay, so I'm going to be yes. Here's his own line to Commonlands. As an aside, there was an actual thing in medieval England and France and Germany, I assume as well, and Spain, whatever medieval Europe will say, uh, where there was actual areas called common lands. So this is actually for farmers. Oh, and by the way, this is the pick zone thing I explained. So we just type /pick, and we have two picks. So there's Common Lands 18 and Common Lands, the Common Lands. So you see pop players 348. I'm going to that one. Make sure you pick the one with about 350 people in it. That means that instance is full. And you should do this right as you zone in on the zone line. Otherwise, it ports you somehow back to the zone line anyway. Okay, so you can see this place is like stuffed with people, right? With all kinds of crazy gear all standing around. And you see down here in the green out of character, there's people hawking their wares. So this would be, like Portobello Road or whatever, if you are a fan of Mary Poppins. uh, this is people, sort of selling all this gear that they've already um, farmed with their 6 mages or whatever they've been doing in the past week. And the prices on each TLP are always different, to do with the rule set and to do with the level of population. Um, right now I'm looking at these Dark Mail gauntlets for my SK. That seems to be a good price. I could buy that right now, but I'm figuring there's no need to maximize his gear at such a low level. When I get to maybe 20 or so, I'll start buying more stuff. I think I'm probably going to be good till about 18 or 20, and then I might start to buy more stuff. So here is the East Common Lands Tunnel, or Common Lands Tunnel, EC Tunnel, and it's, as you see, chock full of nuts. I mean, EQ players, and here we are. They all have some kind of new mount that they're giving away, which looks a bit ridiculous, but oh well. Everyone here has a snow leopard, I think it is, or a Pegasus, or something strange. And classic EQ, no one had a mount at all. There were no mounts yet, as far as I know. They were introduced in the Luckland expansion, Shadows of Luckland expansion in 2002-ish. People will say, "Oh, come to Shady Swashbuckler. This is him." Or the parcel person. The parcel person is over here. You can see this big shrum of people. Even I've seen people stand up here like this, so people will notice them. That's what I'm going to do. Hi. Okay, so, I'm going to leave him there to sort of track the prices going by. And I'm going to continue to fight on my other guys. Crunch. So the Dark Reaver is doing well. I have this feature here, hit modes. Your hits number only. So this way, if you scroll up, you'll see only numbers. So it's blah, 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 skeleton this, skeleton that, blah, 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 25, 28. So this again, crunch, 27. So see, over level 10, he's now swinging for over 20 points of damage. If he was under level 10 using a two-handed sword or club or piercing item, he would not be able to do over 20 points of damage, I was told. So I thought I would try out this idea. Someone trying to sell fungus covered grave staff. So, pardon me. Okay. So, yeah, so already I have 154 bone chips. That didn't take very long at all because some of these drop 2 bone chips each. And then you have like, stacks and stacks of them. So I'm going to rebuff here. So the buffs I'm using, and let me know if this is wrong because I don't know much about shamans. Using the Fleeting Fury, Inner Fire, Scale Skin, if I got a snake. Yeah, that actually uses up a snake scales. So that uses up a regent, as it's called. And he's giving a Spirit of Wolf. And I have actually light healing. Let's see if I have any other spells. No, I think I need to go back to Grob and check for new spells. Oops, click that off. So, do I have anything? Those are all the spells I know. I figured again I'll probably do okay for the next few levels. The spell I want is Alacrity. I think, if I remember, it's something like level 15 or 16. That gives a haste buff. And, yeah, so there's these 2 NPCs sitting here. They are interesting. They are actually level 15, and if I attacked them right now, I would die horribly. But one thing about them is they repop very quickly. So if you've ever killed guards in a town, it's sort of like that, except the guards are usually somewhere more like level 50 or 45 or something like that. These guys are just sitting out here in the wilderness for a quest. And if you kill them, there's no faction hit at all with Neriak. So I found this out just by accident by tap targeting them or whatever attack nearest thing targeting them. And yeah, they are dark elves, but when you kill them, it doesn't say, oh, your faction with anybody decreases. There's no faction hits at all. So you can kill them for XP. And they repop every roughly 4 minutes. So I think it was, or more like 4 minutes, 15 seconds or something like that. And they actually are pretty good sources of XP at this level. However, they are kind of tough. So without mercenaries or heals or, uber gear and buffs and so on, I would not recommend attacking them until you're around level 18 or maybe 17 if you're very well geared and so on. But they are tougher than they look. So, like I said, not much else to report. I should invest in some new backpacks. However, there is a problem with encumbrance on the server, so if you have like 6 backpacks that are full of rusty, swords or whatever, you will be walking very slowly. Thankfully, I have my pocket shaman, the Spirit of Wolf here, so I have in the past actually loaded up so much on rusty weapons that I could not physically move the character. You see, this guy just dropped 2. So I would gate back to the SK guild, the Shadow Knight guild, and then be unable to walk to the vendor. And I had to come and cast Spirit of Wolf on him to get him to even sort of crawl toward the vendor. So yeah, I think what I'll do right now is I'll go back to um, Neriak and grab some new backpacks and sell some of this stuff. I got some more cloth armor for the shaman here. So this to me is a really cool camp. It's a, sort of an exploit, as I've said, but I think it's cool. If you go on a live server and you have a tank mercenary, you can just kind of stand there, and the tank mercenary can kill anything that pops here as soon as you get to around level 10. And you could, I don't want to say this, but you could technically go AFK and just kind of, start hoovering up loot. Okay, I am going to go back to. Oh, does he have shoes? Yeah, so now he just needs a tunic of some kind and then a cloth choker. And then he's, so he can actually gate back to Neriak, which I find is a nice feature. So I have him bound at Neriak Ford Quarter. I actually ran him there for Grob on launch, which was fun because every froglock and every, you know, thing in Desert of Roe was already camped. I just ran right through Desert of Roe and through Common Lands Tunnel and right into Nektulous and Neriak here with a totally naked troll. So here we have one of our friendly rotting citizens, presumably of Neriak, which some of you might remember as Benzel Baranzin from the Forgotten Realms series, but we don't talk about that. That would be author R.A. Salvatore. Anyway, with the Drizzt Doran series, or Drizzt Doran series, one of the most popular characters in the TSR franchise, Forgotten Realms. So I'm not sure why there's so many collectibles around. I don't even know what this is. Okay, the way to tell which collectible um, goes with which collection is to right click on that and then look at lore tab here. This other build appears to have been slashed to ribbons. Okay, this item is a part of the collection stolen Death Fist gear. So I don't know when these were added, but they're actually kind of filling up my inventory here. Oh, I should mention sometimes the skeletons drop rawhide gear. So I'm currently wearing a rawhide cloak, and I have actually seen a rawhide tunic drop at those skeletons. It's quite rare, but that has AC 8, I think, and it's much better than cloth. So if you're willing to use this camp, I think you will find a lot of actually pretty decent stuff drops there for very minimum effort, minimal effort. Now, I'm going to keep my spider silk that also sells well on these TLPs I found in the past. And I'm going to... I'm not really sure what to do with these collectibles. They can't be sold to vendors, I see that. Okay, I'm trying not to sell my decent weapons. Here's the crack stuff. Get these. These are 1 platinum and 1 silver and 3 copper to a vendor. And also make a decent weapon. If you see that, always loot that. Those are great. I'd like to point out there is a difference between spiderling silk and spider silk. So, spiderling silk it drops off of spiderling type mobs, and spider silk drops off the larger spiders. So they do stack separately and sell separately and so forth. Be advised of that. Be cognizant of that. I met someone who actually used the word cognizant once. Okay, so I'm gonna buy some more backpacks. There we are. Since I happen to have a bit of dough, that makes sense. So at this point, this guy's not encumbered yet. He probably will become encumbered very quickly, but that's dependent on the character's strength and so on. Alright, I'm going to wait for the shaman to come back. So this is Neriac 4 1/4 at the Soul Binder. Now if you're confused about which part of Neriac's which, there are 3 parts. When you first zone in, you are in Neriac 4 1/4, and it seems to be that they have races like ogres and trolls who are visiting Neriac. They have somewhat kept them out of the city in their own sort of ghetto, where they live out here in this zone. Yeah, as you can see, Neriac 4 1/4. So the next zone you zone into is Neriac Commons, and then Neriac first gate and second gate, and I think there's a third and fourth gate they added much later for raids and like Call of the Forsaken expansion, which I think was put out around let me think, 2014 or 13 or so. Anyway, you could Google that, but yeah, they did make a Neriac fourth gate raid, and I did go to it. But anyway, so yeah, here's my shaman back, and there's my SK here, and yeah, okay. Sometimes I notice it puts them in different picks of the same zone. So you zone in one guy, zone in the second guy goes to some other pick. So the way to check that is like this, slash pick. Okay. And the reason this exists is because on launch these zones fill up quickly to around 250 or 300 people, and they want to give everybody the chance to play the game, and so they started spawning extra picks of the zone or extra copies of the zone to handle the overflow of players. So I've seen some zones have like 10 different picks in the past. I'm playing fairly late at night here. It's 12:30 a.m. Pacific, and it's pretty empty Neriac we've got here. But even at midnight, as you can see, there are lots of people crammed into the tunnel. So, anyways, I'm going back to my skeleton camp, and I'm going to stay there. Okay, so that marks half an hour. I'm probably going to do another half hour and then spare everybody the details of grinding up to, say 20. Not much really happens between 10 and 20 in my estimation in Classic and or rebellious as we are here. And I'll make a new video a bit further into the Gina, the local dungeon. And I've done this quite a few times now, and the Gina is great to level in, but it does take quite a while without mercenaries and without Uber raid gear. What are we getting? These are still light blue. So they have added now percents on the experience bar, so it actually tells you in yellow here you gain party experience 1.340%, like right down to the 0.000 of a percent. So you can always tell exactly how close you are to leveling now, which is much nicer than when I joined in 2009 or when I tried the game in 99. They've added so many features now that it's certainly much easier. In 99, there were corpse runs, there were stamina bars that were always running out, there were torches. I'm sure if anyone else out there in internet land likes other RPGs, they know that you RPGs force you to buy lighting sources and oil and candles and matches and things to try and have a light source. They removed that a long time ago in EQ. And of course, the infamous corpse runs were removed. I did get to see them. I did freak out quite a bit and thinking that, oh no, I just lost, 5 hours of work in the middle of nowhere. And, I have to run back and get this guy. Yeah, and back in my day, I tell you, it was not as easy as this. Okay, so that is the cloth cape. That goes on any character. And so, yeah, if somebody was brand new to this game, I'd say, hey, roll the guy on Frostreaver, make him a dark elf, and come stand here. um, Eventually, you'll kind of hit level, 13, and you'll probably have all kinds of junk to sell, and, you know. Also, I have the perk, the adventurer perk, that gives you extra gold. So see, every time I kill one of these mobs, it says you receive 2 silver and 5 copper as your split with a bonus. So I'm actually receiving bonus plat on this account, which is something you can pay extra for when you subscribe or when you register and and pay your subscription. You can add quote unquote adventurer perks. We added that I think 2 or 3 years ago, and that definitely helps if you're trying to farm platinum. I haven't gotten it on both my accounts. I currently run 2 accounts on live servers, sometimes 3. This guy happens to be activated today, but his account runs out soon. And I think I'll just stick with these 2 over the summer, perhaps. Um, what else to say? There's some roaming guys I'm looking for. Yeah, such as this person, rotting citizen. How timely. So these are only level 7, but if you are under geared with cloth stuff and a rusty, you know, fork or whatever, you'll probably die to this. My guy is pretty much stacked. The thing's not even hitting him, as you see. And I can just cast all my SK spells and wail on the person. And yeah, they're dead. Okay. This is a larger spider that drops actual spider silk. Get back here. Get back here. Okay, there's its legs, so let's rip those off. Okay. These are quite dangerous, actually, at lower levels. They're level 8, and they poison you, so when it attacks, it'll show a green icon up here, and you'll get poisoned, and you'll probably die. But like I said, a lot of this guy's power is coming from his breastplate here, which is AC 16, Strength 3, Stamina 6. And I picked it up for, I think, about 500 platinum. So, yeah, you might want to buy a chrono and get a couple of pieces of twig gear just to make this set much smoother at these levels. There's a tree snake. There's a bear. These are all level 4 or something. Okay, so not much problem killing that. Okay, there's another interesting mob who spawns around here called the Undead Animal Keeper. I think he is... Oh, wait a second. I'm beating up my troll. So I'll have the troll heal himself. I'm not really... See how I'm not panicking? Don't panic. It's sort of like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something. And see, with this kind of weapons and armor, I don't have to worry too much. Not much of the zone can actually hit me. So in EQ, what I found is you don't have to fill up every slot with like amazing, awesome stuff. Like I often have guys with not really very many rings or earrings or anything that great. I just get them like a good breastplate, a good sword, and you don't really have to worry about the quote unquote visible slots or non visible slots. If you have one or two quote unquote Uber items, as we used to call them in '99, then that's all you sort of need for the lower levels. As you get to level 40 and 50, then yes, you want to maximize every slot with your best stuff. As the monsters get a lot tougher over 30, 40, 50, 60 around there. These guys are pretty wimpy. So to paraphrase a site I used to go to quite a bit when I first started EQ, Omar's Guides, actually. Shout out to Omar if you're out there somewhere. Omar's Guides, he said, yeah, the classic mobs, the ones in the original game, are the weakest. So if you could get XP off of those, they have stuff like 10 hit points, 5 hit points, or something like this, and you can just, smash them. So if you go to the brand new expansions and try to jump into the deep end, so to speak, the monsters have things like 1,000,000 hit points. I think I looked at this in the Lauren, like farmer in Valley of Lunanian, just a guy with a pitchfork, has something like 2,000,000 hit points. And it takes like a group of level 90s to bring him down. So this game has gotten it's sort of like inflation. It's gotten so like inflated in hit points and level creep and level inflation or whatever they're calling it, that even just normal guys walking around in the new zones are like, godly. Unless you happen to be, 5 or 6 levels above them already and have better gear. So yeah, the Aloran farmer I'm thinking of is, it's in the Vale of Valaris expansion, and yeah, I went back there recently and was pretty overwhelmed. I was like, after House of Thule and Underfoot, people were like, well, where are they going to go from there, right? They raised the level cap to 90 and in House of Thule, and people were concerned. They're like, well, what's going to happen next, Or, okay, they raised it again to 95. So I think that was one of the instances where, if I remember correctly, they raised the level cap twice in a row. So I think I could be misremembering this, but I think they raised it to 90 in House of Thule and 95 in Vale of Valaris, and it was tough. I remember a lot of people leaving and complaining incessantly, but anyway, that doesn't apply here. These guys just have, like 100 hit points or something. Level 11. So this is the most powerful mob that spawns here, Lesser Mummy. So I'm just actually get my shaman to help a bit here, to assist and slow it. So this is called Drowsy, and it slows the mob down, assuming it didn't resist it. And it says, Lesser Mummy yawns. That means that it is partially slowed. And this is the icon here, Drowsy. So I wasn't really sure what that was for when I first played, but it's the opposite of haste. So if you click your guy and give him a haste buff, I don't have one yet, and then slow the monster down, it makes it easier to kill the monster, and the monster does less damage. So it's what's known as a debuff. So I understand that if you stack up all the haste items and haste buffs on your melees, and then you're able to slow down the mob dies a lot quicker, and it's a particular ability of shamans and enchanters, and I think bards in this game. So I got a double pop of actually decent. Okay, here comes another mob, undead steward. Okay, so I should start to get worried right now. I'm not in the least bit worried right now because I have uber gear. Haha. Also, trolls actually regenerate naturally. I wasn't sure if this was true, but it is. Trolls actually regenerate just like they do in Dungeons and Dragons First Edition and Second Edition. They really they can regrow a limb or whatever, right? If you hack its arm off. And, that is represented in this game as well. In fact, if you look up the history of VQ, when it first started, it was originally going to be a TSR Forgotten Realms sort of affair, but they decided to drop the D&D license and make up their own lore and their own trademarks, and there was a split with TSR before the game came out, and they decided to create their own brand. So I bet they're glad they did. They're laughing all the way to the bank here. What is it, 27 years later? Yeah. I think it's EQ's 27th anniversary this year. So, see, because of my gear and my setup here, that's the hardest monster that spawns around here, and I don't think it was really able to hit me. I'll just heal the damage here. Boom, and we're great. So, I'd highly recommend this camp because those mobs are level 12 and 13, and they continue to give you XP. So if you were 12 or 13 or 14, etc., then I guess at 15 you probably want to move on. Okay, let's have a look at this Common Lands title again. You might notice that I'm running 3 guys. They have allowed boxing on the server. So in the past, the TLPs have been true box servers, so you need a laptop or something to actually log in anybody. But these ones, or this one here, Frostreaver, you could actually have 3 guys going, and I was like, oh, cool. So anyway, I have 3 instances of EQ running side by side, and yeah, I'm just checking out these prices tonight. Oh, another thing you can do to watch the economy, because since there's no bazaar yet until Luckland unlocks, you can join auction. So auction 5 is the actual channel, so you type /join auction, and it will show you people selling stuff in pink here. And that's always exciting. Oh, I'm about to hit level 12, so when I hit level 12 I'll stop for the night. But yeah, 2% off of those guys. Anyway, I should join auction on this guy as well. So we got actually a lot of people on right now. It says new players 321, general 331, 650 right there. Another 400, that's 1,050. 1,300. I'd say there's about 1,500 people on right now. So this is very heavily populated. And more towards the morning, I think there'll be even more. This is when the pick zone thing starts to take effect, and always make sure you check which pick zone, which pick you're in with the pick zone tool. If you find the zone you're in is too crowded and there's too many trains running you over and killing you over and over, like in Unrest, I notice happens a lot, you might want to go to another pick, which is more empty. So, oh hey, a shield. See, look, you can. I told you could get lots of good stuff here. This is actually a round shield, AC6. This is great. I'm doing that for myself. I could give it to the shaman. It is shaman usable. But see, that just dropped off just a normal skeleton here. So just a note about the economy. You might be wondering if you're a classic EQ player or someone who doesn't follow the game very closely. How did all these people get here with all its gear so quickly? The server just launched actually. Let me see here. When did it launch? May 27th. So it hasn't been very. It hasn't been up very long. And a lot of people jumped in here on the first day. You know, made 6 tunes and bought 20 chronos and 50 potions and that XP potions that is, and they're already level 50. So see, here we are, the 27th, and then that's about a week and 2 days ago. And so the server's only been up for a week and a half. But these people are already level 50 and 60 even, I think, if I check. Cool, 60. See, there's people walking around who are already level 60. Not a ton, but a few. So the way this is accomplished is by running in with, say, 6 mages or um, 6 people, real people if you want, and speed running it by buying potions and so on. Personally, I haven't bought a single potion yet. I could just waltz right through this if I started dropping money on $50 potions, but I'm doing this the old-fashioned way for the most part because, well, I'm broke. But anyway, that's another topic. Yeah, I found some pretty interesting shortcuts by doing that. If you just buy potions and run through everything, you miss some of the cool little secrets you can find and probably get to level 50 or 60 and get bored pretty quick. So I kind of enjoyed it, kind of scrounging around for little items like this, and it's actually more fun in the long term if you let the game kind of take its normal course rather than trying to race to level 50 or 60 as quickly as you humanly can. Rushing some buffs here. Pets down. Pets aren't that great at this level, but hey, why not? So yeah, if when I hit 12, I still don't think I'll be strong enough to fight these 2 NPCs. And you don't have to fight them at all; they never attack you or anything. But you could farm them for XP. I'm actually gonna give the shield to my troll shaman. I've thought it over. And there, it helps him not get squished, quote unquote. So it's getting near 1 o'clock here, so I'm probably going to shut it down. And I'll come back when I hit level 20. And it'll be a couple of days for me, but yeah, like I said, I think all these chronos and potions are really unnecessary for, level 10 characters, level 5 characters. I'd maybe save it till they were 40 or something like that. I found the grind from 40 to 50 was really quite annoying, but anyway, that's me. I've been playing for 17 years, so. Anyway, yeah, I think I'll shut it down now, and I'll see you in the next installment of Frostreaver. Alright, good luck and good travels in Doras.